In this video, I want to talk about SharePoint document libraries, and I'm going to refer to the tab that we're looking at right now, which is OneDrive. So if you look at OneDrive, you'll notice that the URL starts with mysharepoint.com and then /personal. So this is a document library in SharePoint. It's just one document library, and it's your document library. So when we talk about OneDrive and SharePoint, sometimes we talk about them kind of interchangeably. I think the way you want to think about it is, am I going to ever share these files with a group of people that I want to manage the group access on the group level rather than a file level? I could share this file with someone else, but then I have to come back in here and manage that. If I put it in SharePoint, all the files are shared with the group in general. You can change specific folders and stuff. But anyway, so OneDrive is SharePoint. It's just for you, and it is a document library. It's just you don't see it that way. In SharePoint, it works a little bit differently. And here I'm on my SharePoint site with site contents selected. And so this shows the site contents. And the top section is document library. The bottom section are lists. I'll cover lists in a different video. Document libraries contain files with columns of data. Lists are just the columns of data, and you could attach files to them. So they work a little bit differently. But where normally you would think in, say, like your Windows File Explorer, where you have folders, um, think of, I guess, your root folders as document libraries. Like here, I have all the HMA files, and here I have all the audit tracking files. Down here, worksheets and forms. So the documents in this document library are worksheets and forms. I'm going to click into that and open that up. And the difference between folders and document libraries is everything in this document library will have these same columns. So this is not a good one because I don't have any columns added other than the defaults. And it's also not a good one because I have folders. SharePoint encourages you to not use folders. So where here I have some files down here, I also have some files in gradation forms that are probably gradation forms or HMA forms in this one. So SharePoint would prefer you to keep those all in one place and have a column that is a type of form. And then the data in that column would be HMA, PCC, gradation, pre-stress, or smoothness. So all the files would be in one place, and then you would use the column headers to filter that by what you want to see. It's a different way of thinking about it, but it works really well. So I wanted to show this document library, and now I'll go up and show one that is formatted, I guess, the way SharePoint would like you to. I'm going to go ahead and go into audit tracking, and I want you to just ignore this next step because I do have one folder in here and everything is in that folder. The reason is I can share that folder out with specific people with specific privileges. So anyway, that's how I did it. But all of the columns on all of these files are going to be the same here as they are here. So even though this is just like template files, they have all of those same columns. So in your document library, once you make those columns, they appear in, if you do make folders, they appear in every folder. So keep that in mind. So in this document library, what we do is we have file names that come in that are usually in Excel format here. This is the name of the file. And then we add columns to this document library to keep track of different things on the file. So in this particular audit form, I'll just click the radio button over here. In this particular audit form, we have assigned it a contract number and statuses for us and the RCE office. We've put comments in here. We've put a link that takes you out to Doc Express for this. That drawer number, date complete, and then some other things. If we've uploaded it, if we've signed it, when it was modified, by who, all of those things. So it's a good way, and these columns are what SharePoint would encourage you to use instead of using folders. So rather than having a folder for Java, old school way to do it on the File Explorer, you would have a folder for audit files. Then in there you would have a folder for Jefferson, local systems, Marshalltown, whatever. And then maybe under that you would even have another folder for the project. So you could bunch those files together. Here, we can just, if we want to see only, I have these sorted actually by this column. That's why they're kind of bunched together like this. What is that? Office, I guess, right? Maybe I don't know how to undo that. I'm in a specific view that I've created here called all active files. So there must be an ungroup somewhere. Interesting. Well, not to sidetrack myself, I'm just going to go back to all documents. So all documents is the view that comes like standard with every document library. And it shows everything. There's no filters, no sorts, nothing. So here, if I went office sort or group by office, it would turn back into that um, same look. Look, the reason that you're not seeing here, let me shrink them all. The reason that you're not seeing those groups is because these are all of the files. Um, so in here, I can ungroup, but I'm not sure. I must have saved that view in a way that didn't allow you to change that. So again, if you put these things on your columns on your files, then you can go back and you can either sort it um, A to Z, Z to A, and if it's a date, like modified by or modified date, you can go newer to older, older to newer, however you want to look at it. And then if I want to say newer to older and only show me things that are done, I can go filter by done and apply. And now it's only going to show me those. So pretty powerful sorting and filtering features, which is why SharePoint wants you to do it this way rather than in a document library. All right, so how do you get a new document library? If I go into site contents and new will pop up at the top, and I can either choose new list or new document library. Again, list is a very similar thing, but it doesn't have a file attached to it. Document libraries are where you store the files. So I can go new document library and I can name it, maybe. Oh my gosh, fingers are in the wrong place on the keyboard. And I can choose to show that over in this navigation side or not. I would say don't unless it's something that you really want to use all the time. So I create that and it takes me there, new document library. I can go up in the gear up here and I can library settings and then more settings and do a lot of stuff. I can add columns, I can share it with specific people, with specific groups, all kinds of things. The easiest way, if you want to add a column, is to just hit add column and then what is it? Let's say I want to keep track of um, I don't know. I'll just use text. And next. And what is that text I want to keep track of? Say it's done. I don't know if I can use special characters, so I'm not going to. Single line of text. Let's change that to a yes, no. There it is. So yes, no, the default value is no, and I can look at these other options. Does it require it? Add it to all content types. So say yes, and boom, I have a new column. So I want to make that column at the beginning maybe. So I'm just going to move it over there. And then I'm going to make another one for choice. And I don't know what my choices are. I guess let's just use choice 1, choice 2, and choice 3 and name it choice. Can they add values manually? So what if it's choice 4? I can check that, and then people can ad hoc put stuff in here, but that can get out of control. So I'm just going to leave it like it is here. I can add them. I can change their colors. I can make default values, all those same things. And I can use a calculated value, like based on is it done, then use choice 3. I want to, as a drop down menu, you can know multiple selections, all that other stuff. So when I save that, now my choice shows up. So I don't have a file handy. I should have one I can drop in there. Poor planning. Let me see if I can find something real quick. So let's look on the desktop, and we'll dump that in there. So I can just pull it over, and it says uploading, and then it says now available, and there it is. But notice it doesn't have any of the it's done or choice columns because I didn't choose any yet by default. So what I want to do is select the radio button, and I can click on this details. Um, it's the little eye with a circle around it, and it's details. Oops, I'll close that settings. And I can go in here. Now, see this title column? That's the one that I said it generates automatically, and it's kind of a special column, so you don't want to change that. You can use it for something if you want. You don't have to, but just realize that it's there and it can't be deleted or modified. So is it done? I'm going to check yes. It's done now, and with choice 2. Now I can also, and it saves those automatically as I'm doing it because I only have one checked. If I had multiples checked here, I could also, check 5 different ones. Then when I do this, I can change those. It'll change on all of them at once, but it won't change until you save. So that's something that took us a while to figure out why change these. Why didn't it change? So if you have multiples checked, you have to hit save at the bottom. Otherwise, it saves it live. But there's a new document library. Now I can use this. I can keep stuff in here for use in other things. I'm going to do other demos that show you how to use Power Automate when you have a document library and that you want to manage files in. And I'll do another video on lists. So it will show how to do the same thing if you're just collecting data and not files. And again, how to use both of those things in Power Automate and Power Apps. So those will be separate videos.